I have muted all microphones from the attendees. So please, if you have any problems, please post a message on the chat. If you cannot hear me, please post a message in the chat here. Okay, then I will just, if there's no other messages, then I will start today. Well, I like to welcome everybody in this first webinar. We realize that it's quite short notice that we announced this starting of the webinars and the webinar program, but we will just start today. And along the way, we will improve where the things can be improved to give you a better service in providing and sharing information from us to you, to be able to get to know EnGenius much better and be able to deploy our products in a better way and sell our products in a bigger volume. I see there are still people arriving. So I will just start with my presentation. So today I will have a general product introduction. I think many of the information is already known for many of our customers who are attending to this webinar. But I'll just, as the first webinar, I will start with this presentation. And the webinars in the next sessions, they will be more in-depth to our products and more in-depth into more presentations, more features of our products. Okay, first of all, I would like to welcome everybody in this webinar, and I thank you all for coming here and participating in this webinar. I just like to introduce myself. I'm James Roos. I'm a product manager for EnGenius Networks Europe and based in the European office in Eindhoven in the Netherlands. I'm a product manager and I'm actually already working for EnGenius for more than 3 years at this moment. And before this, I was working in IT already since 2001. As a product manager, I am the bridge between the headquarters and the customers. And our webinar program and the partner program is one of the outlet points of information that we want to create to share the information to all our customers. Okay, then I will just want to start with my general presentation for the people who just came in. I would like to repeat that today's presentation is a very general presentation, and like I mentioned, many of the information is already known to the customers. But I just want to go through the product lines again and update you with the latest changes in the product lines. And yeah, so if there is any questions, you can write a chat. My colleague Mark van Gompel is also joining this webinar, and he would help if there are any questions in between. And otherwise, you can always send, if you have some questions afterwards, you can also send an email, or you can just pick up the phone and call us for any questions. Okay, I would like to continue here, start with my first slide, which is actually an overview of the things that I want to discuss today. It's kind of a lineup of our product line, and I just want to go through the product line. Okay, what does EnGenius have? In further webinars, I would like to go more into deep. What can you do with our products? And there are some webinars that will be dedicated on explaining and hands-on how we can deploy products in more details. But today, I just want to go through the general product line. And if you look at this this page, which is a list out of our product lines, in general, you can divide our product line in 3 major categories, which is solutions, which is a standalone, and which is SOHO. From history, we always have been focusing on standalone products, and let me check here. Our products we have a good reputation in having good standalone products, and I just would like to go through the indoor and outdoor for this product line. So in short, we have I will go through the solutions, standalone and SOHO, and then I will start with first with a short introduction of EnGenius. Who is EnGenius, for the people who do not know EnGenius? So I will start here. EnGenius. Who is EnGenius? EnGenius is a subsidiary brand of Sanao International, and it's a stock-listed Taiwanese company, and already founded in 1975, with main business and production of telephony and networking devices. The brand EnGenius is established in 1993, and since then EnGenius is focusing on production of wireless networking devices like access points and routers. Besides this, EnGenius also have telephones, but this product line is not to be used in the European region because of the fact that the frequency band that is used in our telephones is not suitable to be used in the European market. Okay. As I told, historical and starting from the standalone products, we used to be the best component in any wireless solution, saying that our products can be integrated in many wireless solutions, and we have the best component in that. We are the manufacturer that is providing you the best access points that you can get. We actually also produce for other brands, many big brands, and we use the same experience for into our products. In 2014, we launched the EWS Neutron series, which is one of the first solutions products line that we are having, and in 2015 we will continue to focus on this EWS Neutron series, which we call the distributed management solution. Next slide is our USPs, our unique selling points. So EnGenius, in short, regarding our products, we work in unlicensed bands, work on the Wi-Fi standard, and we work on both on 2.4 and 5 gigahertz frequency bands. We work with IEEE 802.11ac and all the standards below that, and we have indoor and outdoor solutions for that. Small remark here, a few years ago we launched our first 11ac outdoor access point, and that was one of the first outdoor access point with the specifications as it is. Just one milestone. A key point in our products is that we work a lot in fine-tuning our products. Our R&D spend a lot of effort in improving our radio sensitivity and stability, and that reflects in improved sensitivity of our devices, more reliable and more stable hardware. The last USP which I'd like to mention, and where I'm going to continue with my presentation with, is our distributed network management solution. This solution is one of our first solutions that we are going to deploy on top of our standalone product line. So we will start with the Neutron series. I will go quite general over this because I will have three more webinars following on this webinar that will go more in depth into the technology and to the hands-on of this product. So this today I will just go very roughly over it. Yeah, the Neutron series is one of the lines that we are focusing on. What is the Neutron series? It's a AP managed solution where a management switch manages the access point from a central place. We call it our distributed network management solution because you actually start in one point to centralize the management, and you distribute the management of the access points from one point. So you distribute this management. And this one point is an all-in-one access point with the management system in. It's an all-in-one AP management switch with the management module built in. And on top of this, you will have indoor and/or outdoor managed APs. The target deployment for this is deployments up to 50 access points that can cater up to 1,000 users. So the target market to deploy it is small and medium offices, hospitality, education. Key points in this solution is easy installation, easy configuration, and basic monitoring of your network. Technically, you can position the EWS Neutron series in places where you need to configure and manage multiple access points. It is not a system where the management is controlled on client level, but a system that is controlled on access point level. This solution is designed for small deployments where you can cater 20 to 1,000 clients through 50 access points. The solution can be part of a bigger setup in combination with radius service, traffic logging service, and internet gateway. So we have to be aware that on top, above our Neutron series, there are client-level access point control systems like systems from Cisco, from HP, from Meraki, from Aerohive. We are just below this system where we have a system where the access points are controlled by a management switch, and yeah, you have to see the difference there. That this is the most important point. The EnGenius Neutron series has a management system to manage the access points, and if you talk about the client-level access controlled system, then that's a different level. So the key point in the EnGenius Neutron solution is that you have to find the places where people cannot afford or do not need a client-level access control system, but they need another easy way to have your network deployed and configured and monitored and controlled. The next slide will show you the full features, the full functions of the EWS solution. Well, like I said, it's a managed wireless solution consisting out of 2 different components, where competitors need 3 or 4 components. So it consists out of indoor and outdoor managed access points, and in the backbone there is the wireless management switch. This one. There is one thing in the EWS Neutron series, is that the access points that are connected to the switch something happened here. One sec. My mouse is not going the right way. Okay, I will just continue where I can. Okay, now I'm out. Okay, I will start with this slide. The switch, like I said, is a combination of a wireless controller. It's a layer 2 port switch and a PoE power, how to say, a PSE, a power supply source for the to the access points. And the whole switch is in a all-in-one housing, so you have one device containing all these 3 components. And many of other brands, you have to buy a separate controller and you have to buy a separate PoE switch to make this kind of solution. So for a basic setup, you only need at least 1 management switch, of course, and a few access points. And you can start, for instance, I would start for at least, if you have deployment for at least like 4 access points, then this solution would be interesting for you to do. So how does it look like in a deployment? The function of the EWS solution in the total network. The EWS series is a managed AP solution where an EWS switch manages the functions of the access points in a central place. So in this drawing, you see that in this case I have a drawing here of the EWS management switch and extended through a PoE switches on top, just to make the network be able to power more access points or connect more access points or in larger places. And you connect the access points wired to the PoE switches. So the main functions is doing like this. The management switch will start from here to manage the access points through the wires. And the main functions are AP auto discovery and provisioning. So that means that if you connect one access point to the EWS switch, then it will automatically be detected as an access point, managed access point, and it can already start to do the provisioning by itself. And from this central point, you can configure all the access points with the EWS switch. Additional services like radius server, captive portal, authentication server, billing server, and activity logging, firewall, etc., etc. Well, we believe that these kind of functions should be done by dedicated servers and dedicated devices. So we did not build it in, also looking at the capacity of our switches, and we believe that this should be done by dedicated devices. And for example, this could be done by a how to call it, a Utopia switch, Utopia access server, and you can add another sonic wall firewall or something, and they all work seamlessly in this kind of deployment, in this kind of network setup, together with the EWS managed wireless solution. Last slide, which I would like to talk about within this Neutron series, is Easy Master. Like I told, one switch is able to cater to manage 50 access points, and sometimes, or many times, you maybe have multiple buildings, or you have multiple sites, or you have multiple offices all over the world, and you want to control the whole wireless. You want to control all the access points in one place. And I like to spit out here today that we have our Easy Master software in development currently, and this is a software that needs to be installed on a server, on a Linux server, or you can also install it in the cloud. And this makes it able for you to manage multiple EWS cells, as we call, from one place. You can even manage a access point directly, as long as there is an internet connection, but then you have some restrictions in the functionality. But in general, like to say that first of all, this software is going to be free software. The software will have no limitations, and it's capable to do multi-site management. The management goes through the cloud. It integrates multi-EWS setups, and you have management redundancy. You can go through the Easy Master, or you can go through the EWS switch. And like I said, there is no software limitation on access point quantity. So looking back, this software is free, and also the licenses for using access points. Actually, the whole EWS solution does not have paid licenses. So no matter how small or how big you are, you can always extend without adding any license fee, unlike other brands are doing. Okay, then after the Neutron series, I like to continue with the indoor series. No, wait. I first want to line up the switches and the products, the access points that we have in our product line. So here in this overview, you will see a lineup of the current switches that we have. Actually, we have a few more models in developing, especially on the low end. But in this lineup, you see the 4 EWS switches that we have at this moment. We have full 19-inch switches, which are capable to manage 50 access points. These are these 3, starting with the 7 in the product number. So the management functions of the 50 access point managed switch are actually the same. The capability is also the same, 50 access points. The main differences in this switches are the power budget. You see that the big one has a 740 watt power budget, and the smallest one has a 185 power budget. So depending on how many access points you want to connect directly to this switch, you have to choose which switch to use, and on top of that you can integrate another EGS switch, which is a non-management switch but a normal PoE switch. Then you can place you can locate the switches in different places. For instance, you have one switch in building 1 and you wire it to the next building. You use a normal PoE switch in building 2 to power up and connect the access points in the other building, but still be managed by the first EWS switch. The fourth switch here is a smaller switch, also with a smaller capacity of manageable access points. So for smaller deployments, you can also already use a smaller switch, which is more cost efficient. But still, you can also add another PoE switch on top of this if you want to extend the network. Regarding the access points, we have indoor access points. These are the models that we have for indoor. They all look the same, but they vary in various different radio setups. You see the different colors in this table. If it's a standard color, it's just a single band, and in this case a 2.4 gigahertz in blue. And if it's a dual radio access point, then it's mentioned here with a purple color. So we have 2.4 single band, dual band with 2T2R radios, 3T3R radios, and on top we have 11AC, which is mentioned in gold as a top model for indoor to cater speeds up to 1300 Mbps on the 11AC protocol. In further slides of this presentation, I will use the same coloring code to indicate which is single band 2.4 or single band 5 GHz, which is actually in red, dual band in purple, and 11AC in gold. I mentioned before that for this EWS solution, we need a special EWS access point. We have to manage a manageable access point, so these are the manageable access points. On the other side, these access points can also be set up as a standalone non-managed access point. There is a small setting in the GUI where you can set the access point in standalone mode. For the outdoor, we have also two models, and they are already available. We have a more harsh model and more heavy model with a bigger mainboard, bigger CPU, bigger memory, with more how to say, capacity and users. Also IP68. So yeah, for the more harsh environments, you can use this access point. It has detachable antennas, so you can also replace the antennas here if needed. But they come standard with included 5 decibel antennas, like on this picture. On the entry-level outdoor, we have the EWS 660. The biggest difference is that it's a little smaller capacity access point. It is not IP68 but IP55, and it has an internal antenna, but it is it's a patch antenna. It's still omnidirectional. It has an omnidirectional coverage. So you don't see anything coming out as an antenna, but there is an internal antenna on the inside, which is omnidirectional. Okay, so far then for the EWS solution. Then I now want to go to the outdoor standalone series. Yeah. EnGenius always has a a good reputation in providing outdoor access points, and I just like to go through the list here. The main access points, actually the top series, are the ENH and the ENS Enterprise series. There are most of them are dual radio access points, and they are typically designed for harsh, if we talk about the ENH series, and yeah, for outdoor deployments based on dual radio infrastructure setups for 5 GHz backhauling and 2.4 GHz access point, the station access points. The secondary typical solution is a dual radio station access point for deployments where clients are divided over 5 and 2.4 GHz. Like I mentioned before, the ENH 1750 EXT is one of the first 11 AC outdoor access points with these specifications. A small additional unique selling point of certain models is a special feature where you can additionally have a secondary LAN port, and that LAN port also functions as PoE output on the AF standard to connect for peripheral devices like an IP camera. So, like I mentioned here, typically the dual radio access points are used in setups where you mainly, or most popular, you use the 5 GHz as a backhaul and the 2.4 GHz as the endpoint access point to connect the clients to. And this is just a small illustration how to set up, as an example, a setup for an outdoor deployment. So in this case, you see that 1, 2, 3, 4 access points are actually connected with the purple line to each other in WDS mode, and you have the gold lines indicating that there are clients connected here. And in this case, it's divided that the WDS mode is on the 5 GHz to bridge the access points together, and you use the 2.4 end station access point to connect the clients to. So, in summarizing the models that we have for the outdoor enterprise level, a lineup of the access points here. Like I said, most of them are dual band. There is only one single band access point here that we have. They all share the same platform, but just the radios are different. So depending on your deployment and your requirements, you can choose to use either a single band 2.4, dual bands on 2T2R and 3T3R solutions, and or 11AC with the ENH 1750 EXT. The second series under it is the ENS series, the ENS Enterprise series, which are new models. It's recently launched, and they are available at this moment. And they are both 11AC models. The difference between them is that one is 2T2R and the other one is 3T3R for more throughput capabilities of the access points. The series below our ENH and ENS Enterprise series, below this we have a series that's called the ENH or the ENS series. These two models are from the ENS series. They are actually smaller. Actually, I think the scale is correct here. This is the ENH model. So already, depending on the size, you can see that the ENH is bigger, also the antennas that are inside that are bigger with a higher gain. But the general specifications that they share is that the ENS and ENH series, the ENS and the ENH SMB series, is that they are all single band. So it's either or 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. They are all 300 Mbps 2T2R. They all share, they have either internal or external antennas, and 10 or 13 dB directional antennas, or 2 pieces of 5 dB omnidirectional antennas. The access point, client bridge, client router, WS modes are all built in, and additionally for the ENS series there is the repeater function on top of this device. So typically they are used as a CPE or a bridge solution. Well, CPE is a customer premises equipment, mainly for WISP solutions. And if you talk about bridge solution, is point-to-point, point-to-multipoint, and especially for the most popular deployment is actually the next one, which is an illustration of IP surveillance deployment. In this case, it's a point-to-multipoint deployment where one ENH 500 acts as an access point and connected to 2 client bridges, also ENH 500s, and these are connected with security cameras in this example. Another example here for the ENH series, ENS series, is also access point client bridge solution, and this is kind of like a WISP solution or a point-to-multipoint solution where you have an access point in the middle and a few client bridges connecting to this access point. Okay, then a quick lineup to close this this chapter. We have for outdoor the ENH 500 and the ENH 202. the indoor series. We have 3 series here, which is the EAP, which is the ECB, and the EGS series. The EAPs are the ceiling mounts, the ECB are the multifunction access points, and the EGS is the series is the PoE switches. Okay, let's find that slide. So the indoor. So we'll start with the EAP series. EAP series, most of the new EAP series already have dual band, 5 GHz and 2.4 GHz, and even models with 11 AC. Key features here is high quantity of SSIDs, traffic shaping, band steering, client limitation, data rate control. So they're quite advanced access points. Typically used in schools, in hotels, in offices, in dormitories, apartments. It's ceiling mount, but yeah, you can also mount it on the wall, also good, and it has a large indoor room coverage. Yeah, these are actually our second most popular access points. And just a quick lineup here. The same coloring system here, gold for the 11 AC, purple for dual band only and single band. New here is the introduction of EAP 1200H, which is a variation of the 11 AC EAP 1750. The difference is that this one is 2T2R instead of the 3T3R for the EAP 1750H. Because of the demand of a more cost-efficient solution for 11 AC. We see currently that it's very difficult to make investments for customers, and if customers want to invest, they want to be ready for at least a few years. So in this case, that 11 AC is already getting popular. At this moment, we also provide a 2T2R 11 AC variation for a more cost-efficient deployment. So please be aware, this is coming soon, and as soon as there is a announcement to make, then we will announce it to all of you. The other series, which is actually the most popular series in certain countries, is the ECB series. Same here is that it's most of them, there are already 2.4 and 5 GHz dual band access points. They have upgradable or detachable antennas, so possible you can just change it with other antennas. They have more modes in comparing to the EAP series. EAP series is more focused on standard access point deployments to be in a hotel or something. But the ECB series are also they have more modes for funny or creative deployments, more to industrial, the options to detect to change the antennas. So they have more modes to use. Yeah, so just an example, it can be as a standard access point, it can be used as a repeater, it can be used as a client bridge, and also as a WS access point. Just a small anecdote here. We have one client who uses the ECB, what is it, 350 to remote control a bomb dismantling vehicle. And in this case, he has one ECB as a client bridge on the vehicle and one on the how to call it, the remote control unit, and they connect wirelessly. Also the cameras, the data goes over the wireless connection, and they control from remotely this vehicle to dismantle the bombs. Just a quick lineup here again. with the ECB series. Also here, single band, these are actually old models, and we expect these models to phase out soon, replacing with at least a dual band version ECB 600. And at the high end we have the 1750. And also in this series we will announce soon the availability for the ECB 1200, which is a more cost-efficient 11AC solution. So the last series in our indoor is actually not access points but PoE switches. Unlike the outdoor series of the ENH 202 and the ENH 500 and the ENS series, they are not PoE, standard PoE, IEEE standard PoE, but all the indoor products are standard PoE. That means that the indoor access point can be powered up with PoE switches. So complementary to this series, we introduce a PoE switch series. And on top of this, this PoE switch series is also integratable and compatible with our EWS series. If you use our PoE switches, the EWS management switch can recognize the PoE switch. And if you go inside the EWS solution and try to manage and monitor the system, you can even see on which port the access point is connected, and you can from the EWS you can already control the functions in the PoE switches. So, but basically for EnGenius we have a small series of switches. We have entry-level models, smart managed switches, and we have layer 2 managed switches. So a quick lineup here. So like I said, we have a few entry-level models which are smart switches, and a few higher models up to 48 ports with L2 managed structure. So far for the indoor series. The last category that I want to highlight in this presentation is the SOHO line. SOHO actually comes from the fact that Sanao EnGenius is actually a big manufacturer also for other brands, and we also produce for on project base, and so from this point of view, we also have a SOHO line. It's not one of it's not a focus line, but just to also provide you this option to have a good router. Then we provide some models of in the SOHO. Still, we used to have standard what we call breadbox routers, but with our EnGenius brand at this moment, we like to give you something extra on our router functionality, and that's what we call our personal cloud. And it has a few things that I want to explain in a very short way. So the EnGenius personal cloud, we have ESR series, which are the routers, and all of these routers are provided with a USB port. This USB port can be used for a few functions, which I'll explain later. The routers, they are all pre-configured with a DDNS service. It's free and it's pre-configured. There is a QR code on the back of the router, a unique QR code with unique username and password for the DDNS service. And with an Android or iOS application, you can use this DDNS connection to your router to deploy a few functionalities that we have built into our router. So first of all, a small lineup of the routers that we will continue to carry. We used to have a wider line of routers, but we decided to shrink down to focus on a few models. We have on the high-end part is an 11AC EPG 5000, which we named to IoT Gateway, Internet of Things. It's 11AC. We have a dual band version ESR 600 and a single band entry level ESR 350 with gigabit port. We have still a square router here, and the reason why this is a square router is that this one has a PSTN line, which I will explain later on the functionality, but it means that this one can be connected to a telephone line. Please don't understand wrong, it's not a modem, but it is it will function like a landline telephone. Okay, so in this series we also have an IP camera, and we will also extend the IP cameras here to integrate the solutions that we have. So for the solutions, I'd like to summarize that are actually 4 cloud platform based apps that you can use on Android and iOS. And the first one actually is EnShare. EnShare is your personal storage server. In this case, you can attach a USB storage, it can be a USB stick or a USB hard drive, to your router, and with your application, with your app on your telephone, you can connect to your router using the DDNS service, which is already pre-configured and free. And you can have your own personal storage server. Unlike something like Dropbox or something, this is not in the cloud. This is your personal storage. Nobody else except for you can access that data. If you want to secure this data from any connection, just pull out your USB storage, and your data is only in your hand and not available for any Google or any Dropbox firm from anywhere. The second function is nTalk. Actually, I have to focus on nTalk Lite. Using the DDNS, you can use the nTalk app to talk within your. You can set up your own VoIP server for up to 9 users internally. Okay, for instance, you can let your wife install this app. You can let your children install this app, and up to 9 users you can use to you can make 9 accounts and to call internally through your router using the apps. There is also a full nTalk, what we call, and in this case that's only available on the EPG 600. This one, like I said, has a PSTN line. With the full nTalk, you can use this VoIP server. Actually, it will be a VoIP server, and you have the capability to call in or call out to through your landline, which is connected to your mobile, the apps on your mobile phone. So this means that even if you are in outside of country, if somebody calls your home number, your mobile phone on the other side of the world will ring. Also, if you have internet connection, then you can use your VoIP service to call out through your landline, and that will save the roaming cost. Third function is en route. En route is like a GPS logging system. If you have en route on your telephone, it will register the GPS logging on the storage of your router, and you can share this logging data with in your own personal cloud platform. The last application that we have in our cloud platform is EnView. EnView is like the viewer software and the viewer application to view the IP cameras. So with the EnView, you can connect very easy with your cameras that you have connected in your house. Actually, even the cameras and even the routers, they have, like I said, this QR code. If you have the EnView app, then you can. There is an option to connect to a camera. Just press the button, read QR code, and you read the cameras or the router's QR code, and it will directly connect to either the router or the camera directly for a simple one-button configuration to connect to your router or camera. So, pretty much summarizing here, I have talked about our AWS solution. I have talked about our standalone solutions for indoor and outdoor. And I have talked about our Soho very shortly as a short general introduction of our product line. So yeah, this was the last slide of my presentation, and maybe there are some questions. If there are some questions, of course, maybe not now. If you have questions now, you can just post it here in the chat, or maybe I can unmute you, or let me see how to do this, because that's also new for me. If you have a question, you can raise your hand or just post the question in the question list. Otherwise, you can also write the question in the chat. Okay, so if there are no further questions at this moment, I would like to close this this webinar. Like I said, this first webinar, this is for us also something new. There are probably a lot of things that need to be improved here. So any comments are also welcome. You can send all your remarks and questions also to the email webinar@engeniusnetworks.eu if you have any further questions or remark. The following topics in our webinar series are going to more into deep of the products, and so to give you more hands-on of our products in the future.